All right, let's talk about a fascinating way to invest, thematic ETFs. These are tools that let you bet on the future itself, not just on individual companies, but on the massive trends that are going to define the next decade. Let's get into it. So, let me ask you a question. Have you ever watched the rise of artificial intelligence or the global shift to clean energy and just thought, I want to be a part of that? I don't just mean buying stock in one company, but investing in the entire idea itself. Well, that's exactly what thematic investing is. It's about putting your money behind a big idea, a story about where the world is heading, and aligning your portfolio with your vision for the future. So, how do you actually do that? Well, the most common tool is the thematic ETF. Let's break down exactly what that means. A thematic ETF basically bundles together a whole collection of companies that are all related to one single specific theme. So instead of buying a broad stock market index that owns a little bit of everything, you're targeting a niche. Think of it like a laser beam, focused on a trend you believe in, whether that's robotics, cybersecurity, or the green revolution. So the core idea is pretty simple. Instead of betting on just one company, you're diversifying your investment across many companies that are all pushing the same trend forward. A thematic ETF lets you focus that capital into one powerful, diversified idea. And that word you might see, broad, just means the ETF is diversified within that specific theme. All right, let's do a quick tour just to see how specific these themes can get. We're going to go from AI all the way to cocoa. This is where it gets really fun. First up, the category that's on everyone's mind, technology. This is one of the most popular areas for thematic investing, and for pretty good reason. And here's a perfect example of that focus we were just talking about. You're not just buying tech. You can invest specifically in the AI revolution with an ETF like WTAI, or bet on the protection of our digital world with a cybersecurity fund like LOCK. You'll notice the names are in English, that's just the language of finance, but it's the idea behind them that counts. But these trends aren't just digital. They have to be built in the physical world, which brings us to the material sector, the literal building blocks of innovation. What's really interesting about this slide is how it connects directly to other big trends. You think electric vehicles are going to need batteries? Well, there's an ETF for lithium and battery tech. Your smartphone needs specialized metals. You can invest in rare earth metals. It just shows how interconnected all these themes really are. And it doesn't just stop with what we dig out of the ground. You can also invest in what we grow and consume through commodity ETFs. The diversity here is just fantastic. On one hand, you've got major energy themes like clean energy or uranium for nuclear power. And on the other, you can invest in the everyday commodities that power our mornings, like cocoa and coffee. Yep, there's an ETF for that. Okay, that was the exciting part. But now we absolutely have to talk about the risks. The source material is very clear on this, so listen up. This is the most important part of this whole presentation. Before you even think about putting money into any of these funds, you have to understand the risks. These are not your standard set-it-and-forget-it funds. They are specialized tools. So here is the crucial point, and it's a direct quote from our source. These thematic ETFs should only make up a small, supplemental part of your portfolio. They are meant to complement a core holding, like a diversified world ETF, not replace it. That is the single most important thing to remember. The source lays out a clear checklist. 1. Do your own research. 2. Check the composition. Actually look inside the ETF to see what companies it really holds, because two funds on the same theme can be very different. 3. Analyze the fees and the liquidity. That just means making sure enough people are trading it so you can easily buy or sell. And finally, a crucial reminder. This is for informational purposes only. It is not financial advice. So as we finish up, I'll leave you with this question. Now that you know these tools exist, what big trend do you believe will define our future? Whether it's in technology, materials, or energy, thematic ETFs offer a direct way to invest in that vision. The key is just to do it wisely.